Hey guys, so today we are going to be talking about a topic that's very close to my heart. And the reason why it's so close to my heart is because I feel like this is something that has been building over the years, and it's still building, and it's still a work in progress, because humans are works in progress. So this topic, it was one of the crossroad topics when it came to studying astrology and stuff. And as maybe someone who's been doing this for 20 years, you'll be like, how could you let that define you and your journey? But you don't understand how it feels like you're being tugged in two very different directions. If you're that person, if you're not, chill, relax. But basically, way back in the day, when I was still learning about rising signs, and for those of you who don't know, your rising sign is the degree of the zodiac sign that was rising on the eastern horizon when you were born, basically. Probably didn't phrase it right. You can just Google it. So, I remember when I was doing this, I would notice there were physical descriptions about the rising signs, and this was actually the topic, or a part of the topic, that I wanted to delve into when it came to the Astrology Awakening Summit last year, April, with a lot of amazing astrologers. So if you don't know, I think I think it was under Christina Claudel. She was the main organizer, right? But there were so many amazing astrologers that were part of the summit, and so many amazing astrologers that I got to connect to because of the summit. But I'm digressing. So with the rising signs and the physical attributes, I remember when I found out I was a Leo rising, I was like, it's wrong. It's wrong. Because Leo risings are described to have this mane hair and this fair skin, and and I looked at it, and I remember thinking, no, I'm not writing this, because there's a very high chance that a lot of the people I'm going to be consulting with will not fit this description, and I don't understand what value it would add if I'm not able to kind of delve into the topic with someone about it and how it relates to them and their experience. So it used to sit and bother me. I'm like, yes, I get it. That was what the ancients had to work with, and I'm probably gonna say this every time something has to deal with the ancients, that I understand the value of it, and I understand where they were coming from. This was what their environment was about. But now, as we are a global society, it's very important for us to be accommodating, within these topics. And when it comes to the rising signs and honoring it, basically, it was the fact that I didn't feel I fit the physical description of a Leo rising that led me to learn and understand how to honor my rising. I actually said this in an Instagram post, I think about a month ago, about honoring your rising. And basically what I mean is, your rising sign shows you what direction your life is going to be steered towards, and you can get a lot from your rising sign. Let's not lie, it gives us the juice. It tells us what motivates us, you know what I mean? But I feel like, in a sense, by looking at it from just that perspective, it's kind of like we're looking at the rising sign as what we can give to the world, what we can give to our environment, what we can give to others. But I was wondering, and I used to wonder, how your rising serves you, what your rising gives to you. And if you're maybe your rising sign your rising ruler, sorry, is in your first house, then maybe this topic is easier to pick up on than those who maybe have their rising in other houses. But it was basically, my questions were, how does the sign and your actions within your life serve you? How can you honor and serve yourself? And I feel like just by looking at the sign and asking questions related to that sign, that is how we can like have a starting point of how to honor our risings, and not kind of try and fit ourselves into the stereotype of what a Aquarius rising is supposed to be, what a Pisces rising is supposed to be. You know, it's more about kind of incorporating practices within our own lives that allow us to honor our risings. I'm trying to think of an example. Okay, so I'm thinking of, for an example, a Gemini rising, right? Let me actually, because I have the questions that I created, and I want to see what does the Gemini rising allow itself to communicate information, right? So we're gonna use Gemini rising. For those of you who are Gemini rising, this for you. But I feel like how this would look is, looking at Gemini rising. Gemini rising is ruled by Mercury, so Mercury is very important within this person's chart. Mercury is about exchanges of information, and I would ask a Gemini rising, how is the information that you are interacting with serving you? How are the day-to-day interactions that you have with yourself serving you? Do you enjoy journaling? Do you enjoy just being in conversation? How do you create time and space for yourself to do those things? And how do you feel when you allow yourself to write, to talk, to adapt, you know, to kind of walk between worlds, walk in between parts of yourself? How do you explore different parts of yourself throughout your life, or throughout your day, or throughout your month? You know, it doesn't have to, you know, when I say practices, I know that we all have different lives, and maybe some of us can't make time in the way that another person can to do certain things, but just making one effort, even if it's just once a month, you know, that once a month where you're like, let me shadow work this Friday, you know, because I'm gonna be by myself, I have the time, you know. That's kind of how it would look for a Gemini rising, you know. I want to try another rising sign, you know. Okay, I was gonna go with Virgo, but I feel like, yes, okay, I don't know why. Sagittarius. Okay, so does the Sagittarius rising allow itself not just to tell its story, but to live its story? Now, Sagittarius risings are ruled by Jupiter. Now, as a Sage rising, you know, as with Gemini rising, it's about exchanging information, the little details. With Sagittarius rising, it's about the story. You know, what stories have you created and do you want to create that make your life feel expansive, that make you feel hopeful within your existence? Do you engage in relationships with others? I know I said this is about serving ourselves, but the people that we interact with can really show us what our relationship to ourselves is, you know. So with the Sag rising, I just kind of feel like it's how are you engaging with others, and how is this changing your vision of yourself? When you engage in activities that take you outside of your comfort zone, do you ensure that it's reinforcing these stories about yourself? Are you telling your story, or are you allowing other people to tell your story? And how can you change that? Yeah, you know, maybe actually I was gonna do one more, but I'm like, no, I could do for all the rising signs, if I'm being completely honest with you. But yeah, I guess that's why it feels so close to my heart, is because as much as I get it, I'm the type of person who, if I feel like we aren't having conversations like this within the astro community or whatever community, I'm just gonna like put my foot forward, and I'm gonna be like, so let's just talk about this. You know what I mean? We may not create anything revolutionary within a day, but at least the conversation has started. At least we're even having these types of conversations with ourselves. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, the Virgo one, guys, I love this topic so much, you know. And these questions, I'm gonna post them on my Insta, so you actually have to go to my Insta to check it. But these questions can be used as journal prompts, you know. And if you want, I do astrological readings, you know. I've been saying I'm gonna like post my services, but yo yeah. Yeah. But I hope this made sense. I always hope that what I'm saying makes sense, because I feel like I'm like talking a lot and I'm like being confusing, like but yeah, I guess that's rising questions, and I hope that you guys enjoyed.